I'm an American that's been here in Spain for 16 years now. I live in Seville, and I run Babs, which is a Web3 strategy firm. So we do strategy, marketing, and PR for all sorts of emerging tech projects. Honestly, this is the first time I've done anything in crypto in Spain. So I'm very excited to kind of tap into this network and meet new people in this space. WebSh3 is our event series that we put on all over the world. This is, I think, our 11th or 12th. And it's all around bringing diversity and inclusivity into the space. So although it's called WebSh3, it's really not just about women, but it's about bringing new voices, people from different religious backgrounds, different ethnicities, all sorts of, the idea is just to kind of promote diversity in general and hear different people's diverse voices on important topics. So today we're going to have 3 panels. This first panel is called Building a Business, Not a Project, which is something very near to my heart in the sense of we are very much in the crypto space talking about the importance of longevity, how things will last. So I'm excited to meet these fantastic people who I've just met today, really, and get their background, etc. I think we're going to do a bit of Spanglish. Si queréis puedo traducir un poco, pero la idea es que la gente hable en el idioma que se siente más cómodo, ¿no? Entonces creo que la mayoría de las personas aquí van a hablar inglés, pero si quieren pueden hablar español. Y si tenéis preguntas en español, por favor que los hagáis y podemos contestar tanto en inglés que en español. ¿Vale? Okay, ya empezamos entonces. Yeah, I said who I am, so maybe just each of you could do a bit of an intro, who you are. I think it'd be good to talk about like why Madrid, why, like if you have a connection here, if you're living here, or if, you know, this ecosystem, what you're working on, and yeah, just make a little bit of personal information of what you brought you to crypto, etc.
So I'm Laura Cole. LC is usually what I go by. I'm with International Blockchain Legal, so I'm a blockchain and crypto attorney, and I basically help startups, no matter what phase you're at in your build. Our firm tries to help you be legally protected and navigate your raise, and ensure that you've got the proper organization structure, whether it be onshore, offshore, or what it is you're trying to do that complies with whatever jurisdiction you're in. I love Madrid. I spent my summer here last summer with a project who had founded this NFT women's education program in Miami. She had spoken at South Summit and decided to come back for the summer and dragged me along with her. And I made a lot of friends here. So I do love Madrid, and that's why I'm happy to be back.
Okay. I'm Lindsey Walker. I'm also originally from the US, and I've been here in Spain for 12 years. I've been in the crypto space from about 2019. I think that crypto is kind of usually a doorway into this whole space. And then I realized the potential that blockchain technology had to change the way that we do things. So I am the talent director and co-founder of a CodeCrypto ecosystem. So right now we are in the base of CodeCrypto Academy. We offer 2 masters, one in blockchain engineering and one in blockchain business. And then we've got some other initiatives such as a talent lab. We've got a software company as well to develop different solutions. And we've got a startup accelerator. So the base right now is the academy, to make sure that we educate and we prepare people for what's to come. And then after that, we'll be able to go into the next initiatives.
Well, my name is Iryna, and I'm originally from Ukraine. Well, living worldwide, leading the team worldwide, actually been in the blockchain space for the last 6-7 years, I believe. Started gaming and then back to cybersecurity. Well, I'm managing companies in an operational way, operational manager with main focus on scaling, but not just scaling for expansion, but within like effective scaling. For example, like in 2 years, multiplied company results and the team and the effects in 5 times. So, and now trying to make sure we still in bear market and still successful. Well, living in Barcelona for the last 3 months, hope with long term, in love with Madrid as well, with Spanish. And so, yeah, thanks for an opportunity to join.
Share this.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to apologize my fellow panelists and everyone here for being so late, which I never do in my life. But also, I have never waited 45 minutes for a taxi in my life. I've been waiting for 9:45. Okay. Well, my name sounds pretty complicated, so let's keep it very simple. You can call me Guru. I'm a serial entrepreneur. When I was 16 years old, I saw the problem of automation of stock market trades because there was no internet penetration, no WhatsApp, nothing. The only way that you could trade was to call your clock on the phone. But imagine your boss watching you all the time being on the phone. It used to be very annoying. So we automated the trades using the SMS services. We were the first person to do it. I was born and educated in India. Now I'm living in Europe for 15 years. I'm sitting here. Sold this company later on successfully. Worked for Morgan Stanley as an institutional trader. Then made a couple of the businesses. Held small shares in my company that I sold, which went public last year. Then I made another company in 2018 where I identified one more problem. That in stock market you start to trade in the morning and by evening you beat that home, but in crypto it's not so. And also crypto trading is very. Everybody has access to price and volume data, so you can't build something very special if you are just doing price and volume. So we applied AI technology. My company is based in France. So what we did was to make a pattern recognition system. We partnered with University Paris, regarded as #1 in mathematics in the world. My co-founder comes from the same university. We made research and development. After 2.5 years, we released the product. Even today, it's the best performing product ever on any marketplaces. Still alive, still doing good. We released a couple of other index-based funds, like wherein you don't have to invest yourself in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any other cryptos like top 5 and top 10. We do automatic rebalancings. Rebalancing not based on the market capitalization, but based on the current market. We have almost got a in principle patent on this product in France, and once we get it in a couple of months later, we'll be patenting it everywhere. So this is what I do as of today. Based on our profits, we do make some investments sometimes, once or twice in some projects, basically into DeFi. This is where our expertise is. So it's pretty much that's it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. We didn't even know you were late because it's Spain and we were just talking, so don't worry. We won't hold it against you. Thank you guys for all of those intros. So what we talk a lot about in crypto or in blockchain is the importance of how we create strategies that will be long-term. What do you guys think are the biggest challenges right now? Because we're in a market that's really complicated, both traditional finance or traditional business and finance. We're in a bit of a, we shouldn't say recession, but inflation is high. And so obviously that has repercussions to the crypto world. What do you think is kind of the biggest barrier for crypto projects to make sure that they're coming up with strategies that make them long-term? Like, what would you say that they kind of need to be thinking about to make sure that this just isn't something that falls apart in the next 6 to 8 months? Anyone that wants to answer? Guru?
Well, I think in cryptos, in blockchain or cryptocurrency projects, there is a lot of experimentation going on, which is good, which is great. But what I often see in the projects is that pivoting towards new trends. So NFT comes up, DeFi project becomes an NFT. Metaverse comes up, they put this DeFi in Metaverse. So then something else comes up tomorrow and they keep doing something. I think there is a lack of focus here. And there needs to be a very long-term vision on what they are doing, where they are going towards, why they are doing that. So these are some of the things that we have in Web2 projects. Normally, if we start a SaaS-based business product, like software as a service, we know who is our target customer, how we can find them, who are our competitors, what is our competitive advantage. And this kind of analysis is really missing in cryptos. So the title of this discussion is building a business and not a project.
Mm-hmm.
They think it's a project. It's not a company. A because
Right.
creating a company is far more serious than having a project. When you create a company, like it needs to have values, needs to have ethics, it needs to have a certain definition of why it exists and whom is it serving for. So this is missing, and people often go with the narratives and they don't go according to their business. So we need to focus more on what we are building, why we are building, who are our target customers, how we get them, and how we scale the business. If the focus remains on the business, then business grows. But if we keep chasing all the candles that keeps happening in this industry, I think as the saying goes, rolling stones never came. So this is the biggest problem.
I think going off that, this space is really challenging because people aren't necessarily looking at crypto as a solution to things or blockchain as a solution at this time. I think a lot of VCs, the questions they're asking are more product market fit, but there's not really an answer for that yet because this is such an experimentating space. And as long as we're experimenting with these things, we don't necessarily have a clear path forward. What we know works for different industries might not work in crypto because we don't have that mass adoption yet. We don't have that natural use case yet. So I think what I'm seeing is a lot of VCs want to make sure you're asking the right questions. They're more focused on, we understand there's not necessarily a product market fit yet, but we want to make sure that you're approaching this in a thoughtful way, that you're asking questions that are in alignment with what they're trying to search for, because they need to find that sweet spot where there is enough use case or there is a path forward to really build out something. So in a market like this, you're wanting to connect with your VCs. If you have, if that's where you are, you want to make sure you're in touch with them enough that you're asking the questions they want answered or they're trying to seek answers for. Even if you're not getting the right answer, they're really focused on asking the right questions right now, because this is such a space where there's a lot of experimentation going on and there's not a lot of true answers or paths forward yet.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll just add in one thing. I think that in this space, there's a lot of hype. And so I think people, as you mentioned, jump from one project to the next and they follow whatever trend is to make a quick million or whatever they're trying to achieve. And they're not building a solid foundation. I think that's the key, is that having that solid foundation to be able to build on top, because if your foundation is wobbly, as soon as you try and add something on, the whole thing is going to crumble. So making sure that you're listening to your client, making sure you're aware of the market, what's going on, but also taking a step back to understand what is your long-term vision and how are you going to make sure that the first step that you take is going to be able to support that weight in the end.
Mhm.
Again, I also wanted to add on this. So usually in the entrepreneurship and the businesses, people are following the idea a lot. But this is where like the project comes. But when we're talking about business, isn't the profit revenue generating money is the main idea for the stakeholders? I think so. Not only idea, but also just revenue. And in order to gain revenue, we should have just very, very proper budgeting. Even in case there is very specific ambience and lots of changes, once you have very detailed, strict planning of budgeting, and once you are tracking each and every penny you're spending on your development, on your changes, you just need to make sure it's tracked. And once the path is changing, you need to be implementing changes very rapidly, not to wait until things get critical. And about challenge, when we are talking about challenges in this industry right now, I think Web3 security, something which is super harmful right now. Because only in September 2023, $400 million were spent as tax and scams. So I mean, this rate is just incredible. And sometimes this is the challenge number one for the industry. And it's important just to make sure you're paying special attention.
Yeah, I agree. And given that the market is so rough right now, what would you guys say is how are you guys going about it with your projects in keeping lean while also growing, while also looking for users? I mean, what are your kind of strategies that you're implementing right now for your own projects to make sure that you stay alive in this bear market?
I'll start. We have a lot of challenges at CodeCrypto. Just the base of the name is crypto, so we always get a lot of people that come to us saying that we're a trading school. We've got a lot of problems with marketing. A lot of times, we get blocked because of the word crypto. And so I think we just kind of persevere with education. Education is the only thing that you can do. You have to educate people. You have to allow them to understand. And you also have to give them time to understand. This is not something that I think after one conversation, a lot of people get. So being patient with people, understanding that this is a long-term goal, and really just providing education, providing value. We have a podcast, so we always try and send people there. We bring professionals from the space. We do events to just talk about what is going on, and being there to support people in this transition, because it is, even for tech profiles, it is a big change. So, allowing them and supporting them in this transition, I think, is the main thing to help, get the word out.
I would agree. I think being thoughtful in this space, as the market pulled back, being thoughtful in how you pull back as well. And you really need to think about, do you believe in what you're doing? And if so, then you have to keep pushing forward, but you need to reassess. And our firm, we're service providers in the space, right? So I'm not building a project. I don't have to look at the runway, my financial runway, and I don't have to constantly fundraise with VCs or angels. But if my clients are hurting, then I'm hurting, because they can't come to me if they don't have that budget. So we have to get more creative with the services we provide and the ways that we reach out and connect. But also, I think it's important to double down on what you believe in. So our firm, has kind of rebranded. We got debanked because we had the name Block&Change in our law firm. So we're working on a rebrand that'll allow us to still service this DLT space that we believe in, but also branch in as this technology evolves into, AI meets blockchain and everything that'll come after that. So it's kind of packaging yourself in a way that you can roll with it when it's pulling back, and then still being present in the space when the next market is back up and the money's flowing again. You don't want to lose your credibility that you were here during this build time. So you've got to find that balance of still digging in and investing in this space and investing in what you're building, while being able to adapt for as this technology does evolve and it grows and the market's back up. What does it look like then? You need to have a foot in both worlds. So you just need to really think about your roadmap and what you're trying to build and where you want to be in this space when it returns to its next bull run or wherever this is headed.
Well, as far as our project is concerned, definitely was impacted by regulations, which is very strict inference. We had a lot of discussion yesterday concerning regulations and all. But to be honest, in bear market, people are not so excited. They don't want to use crypto products so much, which is true. We have been hurt because of the bear market. But currently, we are not focusing on client activation so much. We are focusing more on client feedback, because it takes a lot more money to get a customer than retaining the customer that we already have. So for that, we make more weekly Zoom sessions with our community members. We don't just speak about our products. We speak generally also, like telling me where are you investing, which crypto is that, why is that. We just try to have some interaction. So the community feels like you care about them. We genuinely care about them. That's why we are doing this. It's not just about intervention. So when they can really see that, then they remain. And we try to create many community activities, like where one member knows the other person very well. They make community meetups in different cities. it doesn't cost us so much, but it brings a lot of value. So once everybody sticks together, then they're coming for the product, but they're staying for the company.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of thing that we are doing in this bear market. Besides, like several other initiatives, like we make partnerships with other exchanges, which unfortunately, again, with regulations, we cannot make now. But what we are doing is like when we make another partnership with an exchange, we don't trade with them, but we just make like a crypto commentary session or something like that. And we invite all the people that we, and we go on LinkedIn and we make webinars there. We just speak about the technology. We don't speak about the product or anything as such. Because directly targeting them, how much of it we do, it won't be so effective as we have seen. Because everybody wants to chase the big thing. It's like, show me the high, I will buy. That's the kind of mindset people have. Nobody will do this buy the dip. It's just a word, buy the dip, but nobody actually buys the dip. Everybody buys the high. So everyone is waiting for this bull market to come back so that they will be fully active. During the bull markets, we were seeing $1 million trading transaction on our platform every single year. Right now, it's been reduced by like 60% or even 70% sometimes, which is quite understandable. So I think projects should try to consolidate their position. And this is the right time to think where they are spending their money. Don't build things which is not bringing so much value. And we have to forget all this nice to have and good to have things. We should focus just on like must have things. And if there is any solution that can work out in the bear market, then we need to bring up that solution because there is opportunity in every problem, as we can see. So when we have released new products now since September, so this focuses only on the bear market. So it keeps buying and selling like only when there is an opportunity. Otherwise, it doesn't make any trades at all. And the good thing about that is in investment, as we say, that it's not always earning the money, which is the profit, but sometimes not losing the money is also your profit. So the whole philosophy of this product is exactly that. So we need to be innovative also at the same time, and we need to keep our customers close. We need to interact with them. We need to provide them a lot of transparency about what's going on, where we are heading. That will motivate them and that will make them to stick with us. And when it's a bull market, they can bring 5 friends of theirs. And business goes on.
Yeah. So you guys, I'm like what you're saying is that everyone is kind of having to stay lean right now. There's been a lot of talk in like the merger and acquisition discussion since we're in a space right now that people are before dying, they'd rather join with another force. Do you think we're going to see a lot of that happening, or do you think that that's like a viable solution, is to kind of look at partnering with other projects just to kind of withstand this lull in the market? What are your
I can
thoughts?
say that's like what I'm seeing. I'm working on a couple mergers and acquisitions now.
Yeah.
And I mean, anything to stay alive at this point. If you want to be in this space and you want to be building, and that's a path forward, I don't see anything wrong with that, because like the same with the internet, the .com boom, 90% of companies failed during that time. Do you think those the 90% of companies that failed, all those people said, oh, I guess the internet's not for me? No, they all combined forces and created what we now know as Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and all these like powerhouse companies. So I think mergers and acquisitions and that natural condensing is a natural course for any type of emerging tech boom. So I wouldn't think of it as a step back. If you're still in the space and you're still building and you believe in what you're building, whatever that looks like is a step forward.
Most probably we will see different cases of maybe reinvesting resources, because this is something that we have started like 10 months ago. We are service providers or service providers go, but 10 months ago we reinvested in building a very progressive tool, which is proactive like intelligence threat tool, which most probably will be even more significant in the further years. So yes, most probably we will see different reincarnations, different mergers and acquisitions, maybe some kind of such reinvesting of funds, and definitely talking also about some strategies which we are implementing right now. This is the individual approach. Sometimes we are helping our customers partners to, with specific introductions, with specific support with like comprehensive marketing. So all of such collective and partnership reports may bring to different new entities, new areas, and yeah, definitely, I think we'll have lots of new actors and new different products and service providers here as well.
Yeah.
I think majority of the money currently is with blockchains like layer 1s and layer 2 blockchains. And in my opinion, there are more number of layer 1 and layer 2 than actual number of users.
Yeah, for sure.
And
They keep getting funded though, which is crazy to me.
yeah, if Board API Club can get $400 million for 10%, anyone can get. So that's the point. There are not so many users, to be honest. Like the infrastructure is huge, and everybody is expecting the mass adoption. When all the people are coming to blockchain, then we will need these kind of things. But I think even if there is a mass adoption, the level of blockchains, so many blockchains, it's not really necessary in my opinion. And mergers and acquisitions in this space will be very difficult because their philosophy is different.
Yeah.
And the way they work is very different. Someone is having like very environmental friendly policies. Someone doesn't care about it. And there are like something is EVM compatible, something is not. Something is using different tech stack, completely Solidity, Rust, C++, so many other tech stacks. So it will be pretty difficult, and their communities are also very. We have blockchains which has been working efficiently for a very, very long time, like Ethereum, never had any incident, for example. And we have had blockchains which takes vacations every month, like Solana, which is down every
But
month.
again, their ecosystem is huge.
Yeah.
And strong.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, but there will be scalability issues for sure when it happens. So I don't see much of M&A activities happening there, even in the traditional finance, because I come from traditional finance. When Bear Stearns collapsed or Lehman Brothers collapsed, so there was M&A activities. We don't see so much M&A activities outside happening, especially in the financial world. So when something is collapsing, we can see that. But now, when FTX collapsed, for example, no one came forward to buy it. Because obviously they had like a very bad balance sheets and a lot of things which is very murky and unknown, completely strange. Sure, but they had very good technology. I mean, their exchange was working flawless, and their API is one of the best I can tell. Their APIs are much more better than Binance. It's very, very good things. But still, nobody wanted to buy their technology as an exchange. So we didn't see that happening at that point in time. Probably some DeFi projects like can find some M&A activities because more or less it's all lending, credits, it's all the same line of business, and there is not so much differences there. But besides that, all of the projects, they have quite a different philosophies. So because every single here companies or like projects, like DeFi or anything else, they have like very individualistic philosophies. So I don't know like how these two things can come together for these mergers to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if there would be a few.
Yeah. I don't know who's watching time. Someone watching time? Maybe one more question? Okay, we'll keep going. I agree with you. And so I think then, is it like, my question is it sustainable? Because I mean, my job is I speak to founders all day for projects coming in. And there are days where you think, I just heard that same narrative 4 times. And the only difference is just a small tweak in the tech stack or a small tweak. And the user journey is, and you think, but everyone is very, very determined that their project is going to be different, individual, and change the world. So like, if we have that mindset, even though we're in a very community driven industry, how will we ever become huge if we don't know how to? I think mergers and acquisitions have to happen at some level for us to really scale. I'm not quite sure how each of these small projects that we all work on, how could they ever get huge without, mass adoption is not going to happen with some sort of collaboration. I guess that's my 2 cents. What do you guys think is kind of the outlook for the next year? If all of you had advice to give to founders and the industry, what do you think? What would you say from the legal perspective to the educational to the cybersecurity? Each of you kind of said something different.
So from a legal perspective, we're seeing a shift. You know, the SEC is, in America at least, is taking a stronger stance to give us some clarity. Whether or not that clarity is what, you know, we want, it's still definitely taking strong steps. In Europe, we saw the MiCA regulations come through, and even though they were dissatisfactory, there's something to start with. So I think you're seeing jurisdictions take steps forward, and in each, the thing about the government is it's very slow. Governments everywhere are just slow, and this tech is very fast. So it's always going to be a little delayed, and it's always going to be less satisfactory because they just don't get it. They're not, you know, tech people, they're government people, and they are not necessarily the savviest, but they're the ones writing these laws that matter or deciding cases that really matter. So it's never going to be what you want it to be, but that gray area that we exist in now is kind of beneficial to a builder, because at some point, all these projects get to this critical mass where the government has to acknowledge them in a way that they were just too slow. If they would have been quicker, they could have pulled back, but it just reaches critical mass at some point where the government, to pull back, it just can't make that lift. So we're at this kind of sweet juncture where there is a gray area, and there's not a great jurisdiction for crypto anywhere. Everywhere has got its drawbacks, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that's really not stopping anyone from building. And as long as you're in whatever jurisdiction you're in, trying to build thoughtfully and not blatantly, you know, brazenly violating things, if you're building with a purpose and you're following what you can follow, and in those gray areas you're pushing things thoughtfully, I think you're going to see a lot of innovation, and I think you'll see that critical mass reached, and the government won't be able to pull back as much as they maybe front to, right? So they're trying to be like, we're really strong on this and we're really going to knock this down, but there's going to come a point where they won't be able to pull back on everything. And so I think moving thoughtfully, definitely, if you're doing something that's in a gray area, you need counsel for sure. But even the simple stuff, like we were talking about, like terms of service for an NFT project. If you buy an NFT project and that NFT project doesn't have terms of service, what did you just buy? You know, like as a user, be thoughtful, but as a builder, be thoughtful too. Make sure you make it clear that you're not making any extra promises here. Like you need to have terms. And then legacy Web2 stuff, privacy policies. Like check all your boxes from a legal standpoint of what you know you have to do today. And then be thoughtful about how you're pushing the envelope for what is gray and what you want to do tomorrow. That would be my advice.
In the education space, I think I would give 2 pieces of advice. The first one would be start now, because when we go back into that bull run, you want to be ready.
Yeah.
When you have that rush of people back in because everything is pretty and fun and everyone's making money, I wouldn't say it's too late, but if you get a head start now, you're going to be already there or halfway and ready to kind of, you know, take advantage of all of that boom of money that comes in with all of those new projects. And the second piece of advice I would say is choose very, very carefully what technologies you're learning. We have people come in all the time and they want to be special and new and, you know, eccentric and choose something, you know, that's I guess de moda. And we always push them back to make sure choose your technology with something that is solid. Because if you invest time, money, and resources in learning something, in a year or 2, it disappears, you're gonna have to start again. And again, it's this space is changing constantly. Technologies that people think, for example, Solana, Polkadot, that are, you know, solid, look at the things that are happening to them now. So it's really important that we go with something with a long track record, as long as it can be in blockchain, because nothing really has a long track record, and make sure that you focus on those technologies that are probably going to be, or at least most likely to be here in the long run.
Something that I wanted to draw your attention to is maybe well used, because in the long run, values is something that makes sense not only internally in your team, but also externally. Reputation. This is not always when in Web3 reputation means a lot now, but this is something what we are trying to do in Zokyo and everywhere. Actually, where project is successful, business is successful, values mean a lot. And maybe this is one of the most important things once you're willing to be in the industry in the long run. And another thing which is more applicable in the day-to-day like things now, maybe be very careful with team expansion. The first thing is like scaling your project not too excessively. And the second one is maybe don't hire the smartest people. Hire people who are like ready to do things done, who are team, like ready to work in a team, who love you, communicate with you, who are focused on growth, learning, and who are open. Because again, in the long run, you won't be supported by people who are just smartest, but you will be supported by people who believe in your like idea, who are standing with you together. So that are the main things. And just one more thing is don't forget to analyze metrics, key performance indicators, because yeah, this is trivial, but this is something which most companies forgot to do. On the same, like as I told in the very beginning, business plan, budgeting, tracking expenses. This is something which companies usually just forgot to do when they're in a rush. And the second thing is just tracking metrics and analytics.
I think those great advices have already been given. So I just have to add like only a few more things. If you start a startup now, if your team very small, don't massively expand your team because it's not the right time for it. And try to build those kind of blockchain projects where really blockchain is necessary. 90% of the projects want to really be blockchain. 95% of the companies doesn't need to exist. They really don't have any use cases. They're existing for the sake of existing. They're existing because they could raise funds. But there are like a number of opportunities where blockchain technology can be very revolutionary and you can implement that. So still we are going towards that direction, but still we are not self-sovereignty. I think there are so many things to do. And NFT is a very revolutionary, very revolutionary. You can make a lot of things. You can make your identity card with that. But so far we are just seeing monkey pictures, custom pictures, and all these things. So that has to go. And the real use case of NFT on that. So these are some of the areas where you can focus on and bring those projects like where really blockchain is necessary. And this is the best time to think about it because in bull market, as one of the person said, like you will not have so much of time to think. And you can start that now with a very small thing. Don't scale up, bootstrap, get some momentum, get product market fit, know your go-to-market strategy. And first and foremost thing is for any project, this is what I say and I do. Founder market fit is very important. So if you are the right founder, if you have knowledge about that, or if you know somebody with you, your co-founder who knows what he's doing, technology-wise or business-wise, have them and do that. And always hire people who tell you what you have to do. Don't hire people for whom you have to say what they have. That's most of the times it happens. You should always hire smarter people than what you are, and they should be able to tell you what you're doing. And if you hire people just to tell them what you want it to be like, that's not the way how it goes. Steve Jobs always used to hire people who used to tell him what he's supposed to do. So hire those kind of people, hire like few people, but few smart people is more than enough. It's about quality, it's not about quantity. So don't say that like you have a team of 30 people, so you'll be able to execute everything. What if all the 30 people are stupid? So it will not happen. So you just need like few smart people to do it. In our company, like we were 3 people when we started in 2017. Until 2021, we were still 3 people. We reached the MRR of like $0 to $50,000 per month, monthly recurring revenue. Until that, we didn't hire anybody. We were only 3 people. One was building, one was selling, one was aping. So you have to go slow. It's absolutely possible. it's bear market. A lot of people are available now in the market. They're also looking for new projects. They make good money in the bull market, but now they are looking for new challenges. Because if you don't have money, the first thing is that you have to pay. But once you have money, then you will think like, oh, now the real purpose comes, right? What do you do? Find those people, find them on Twitter, find them on in meetups, find them anywhere. And especially for founders, for young people, don't waste so much of time on Instagrams. Don't waste time on all these nonsense things like I won't give you anything, but be focused, know what you want.
Thank you, Gupta. That's a good segue for how can everyone here find you guys? Maybe you can share.
Start.
Oh yeah, myself, sorry. You can find me on LinkedIn at my name up there, or on Twitter, and it's just at Catie Romero. I'm pretty responsive. If I don't respond in 2 days, ping me again. And then of course Telegram. I think most Web3 people are on Telegram. So yes. Elsie.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you, WebSh3, and thank you to Block&Change. I'm Laura at iblpartners.com, or I'm LC, so I'm Learned Chaos on anything with username. So LinkedIn /Learned Chaos, Telegram Learned Chaos, Insta, Twitter, Farcaster.
That's clever. I like that.
Thank you very much for having me and for this invitation to be able to speak this morning. You can find me on LinkedIn, Lindsey Walker, or Lindsey at CodeCrypto.academy. And also here we are, CodeCrypto Academy. We're happy to answer any questions about that you guys might have about the space, both in engineering and business and blockchain.
Much more easier to find me like Iryna, Zokyo, not Iryna because it's a bit more complicated. Yeah, so on Telegram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, everywhere. Also very happy to help with any kinds of Web3 security advice, support, and production. So feel free to find me anywhere and contact. And thank you so much for having me here. It was my pleasure to meet and participate.
The same. Thank you so much for inviting me here. It was great meeting you all. You can just find me. You can just search my name on LinkedIn. So you can connect me there, or search my name on Twitter. Find me there. If you have some questions or anything at any given point in time, you can contact me on Telegram as well. Where I was speaking about my crying story of not getting a taxi on the group, so you can find me there on my Telegram. If there is something that I can help you with, I will definitely help. I'm 24/7 working almost all the time, so you can reach out to me on any of the platforms, and I definitely reply to you. Sometimes it's difficult and I will take some time, but I will definitely reply. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You too.